Championship quarterfinals coming at you Saturday, noon Eastern, right here on U.
Welcome to Annapolis, the state capital of Maryland. Lacrosse fans from all over the region are descending on Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in what should be a record crowd today. They're here to watch the first of two games, Maryland taking on Virginia. It's the national quarterfinals. The winner of this game advances to Foxborough and championship weekend. Welcome to the NCAA Lacrosse Championships, presented on ESPNU by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Buckle up and get ready, college lacrosse fans, for what should be the all-time record attendance day in national quarterfinal history. We start an incredible doubleheader with Maryland and Virginia. The winner makes the championship weekend outside Boston. We start the weekend with 8 teams, 2 games here at Navy, 2 tomorrow at Cornell, all to be seen here on ESPNU as these schools make a run for the national championship. Hello, lacrosse fans. Welcome to Annapolis. Great to have you with us. Dave Ryan, Quint Kesnick alongside. What a weekend. 8 teams, Quint. One dream to make Boston next weekend.
This quarterfinal round in many ways is the payoff round. The goal of all these programs has always been championship weekend. You win here, that validates your season. You lose here, and everything is spoiled.
Well, this is the rubber match between these two ACC rivals. So far, 1 win each. The first game seen on ESPN2 went to Maryland, 13-7. Travis Reed, 5 points. Goalie Jason Carter, career-high 15 saves, but game 2, Quint, went to UVA in convincing fashion.
Garrett Billings, 4 goals. Ben Rubio, 4 goals. And when you look at this series, what stands out for Maryland, the youngsters on attack. Ryan Young, the speed demon from behind the goal with 18 assists. He's a great setup man. Grant Catalino, 6'5", 240 behemoth, 27 goals, slick hands. Travis Reed, the left-hander, a wing shooter. He's got the sidearm rifle, so dangerous in transition and on the extra man.
So Maryland survived in round 1 of this NCAA tournament against Denver last weekend at College Park. Virginia had its hands full with UMBC in Charlottesville, and the attack came through as they survived by 1 goal.
Yeah, the attack scored 9 out of 10 goals for the Cavaliers. It's the nation's second-best attack behind Duke. Danny Gladding had 4 in that game, dodging from X behind the goal. He's a point guard, a quarterback, just getting over the hamstring injury. Garrett Billings, so efficient on the extra man. He had 3 goals. And then how about Ben Rubio, Tuarton finalist as a top 5 player. He's got 208 career points, and he sets the tone for the Cavs.
Officials at Navy expecting more than 18,000 for the doubleheader. Maryland, Virginia, Navy Hopkins. It's great college lacrosse. Coming your way next on ESPNU. On a picture-perfect day for college lacrosse. Let's take a look at today's Dick's Sporting Goods key players to watch, Quint.
Joe Snosky, talented defender for the Terps. He will draw the assignment of covering Danny Gladding. Jeff Reynolds, big year, 18 goals for the Roadrunner. And Travis Reed, the freshman, suspended for 2 games middle of the year, only has 2 goals in his last 4 games. Brian Carroll, great shooter on extra man. He has 27 goals. Jamel Bratton, 13 goals. He's the future of this Virginia program. I think the future is today in Ken Clausen. How about his speed in the clearing game for the Cavs?
Great stick work. Well, Maryland head coach Dave Connell has been a head coach for 26 years overall, 7 years at Maryland. He told us this week when he's never had a 2-goalie system until this season. He'll do it again today. Brian Phipps will start. Jason Carter may come in, depending on the first half that Phipps has.
It was Carter who played the outstanding full game when the Terps beat Virginia regular season. Carter, the redshirt junior from nearby St. Mary's, 15 saves in that game, only 7 goals against. And Phipps, more of a technician.
But Petit, 5th-year grad student in the nets for Virginia, took over about 10 games in for Adam Gittleman, the freshman starter. But Gittleman, according to Dom Stargin this week, better practices and a better mental state right now.
Petit, 6'4", right-hander, shaky against UMBC, only making 8 saves, but made a key one with 40 seconds to go.
Brent Holmes, Garrett Ince take the draw at midfield, and we are underway in the national quarterfinal. Early whistle, and possession goes to Virginia.
Face-offs will be one of the keys. That was one of the catalysts when Maryland beat Virginia. They won 15 of 23, but in the rematch in the ACC semis, it was Virginia winning 12 of 20 by Garrett Ince.
Peter Lomedy brings into the offensive end for Virginia. First half-field possession for either team. Here's Ben Rubio, goal line extended, the All-American, one of the 5 finalists for the Tewaaraton Trophy, the Heisman Trophy of college lacrosse. Wrapping up a brilliant career. We spoke with Ben this week, very confident that his team would win the rubber match. Shamel Brett, the freshman, Quentin talked about him a moment ago. A little dodge move to the top of the box, but Maryland there defensively early on. Rubio left-hand cradle. It's hit pretty hard. Farrell got a piece of him. Ryan Farrell, the pull. And a steal. Early, Maryland gets possession. Ryan Adolph coming away with it with a long stick. And here comes a clear try, but it's botched. Ground ball, anyone's ball near midfield.
Holmes made the initial check to dislodge the ball. Shaky clear for Maryland.
Jeff Reynolds offensive end, left-handed shot, whistled it wide to the right of Bud Petit.
Maryland defense, you see Holmes digging in against Lomedy, then he gets some help.
Brad Catalino looks out to Dan Groot. Little change this week for Dave Cottle's first midfield to try to avoid a bad matchup.
Well, it's all about figuring out who Virginia is going to put their long pole. Each team is limited to 4 long sticks. Mike Timms, Virginia's long stick midfielder, and right now he's covering Dan Groot. This should open things up for Jeff Reynolds to be one of the penetrators and the ball carriers.
And here he is, good two-way player just outside the box. They'll go near midfield for Jeremy Sieverts. Transfer from Butler. Swim move, top of the box. That about a shot off of Grant Catalino. The 6'5", 240-pound behemoth freshman. He's been great on attack. Young couldn't find the handle. Ball still loose. Sieverts grabs the grounder. And here comes Dan Groot again.
Maryland's going to utilize a 1-4-1 set on many occasions. The spacing between Sieverts and Catalino was too tight. They like to set some inside-outside picks, like in basketball when teams go 1-4, Dave, how the outside men crash in and the inside big men then loop out to the outside.
Reynolds comes off, and one of the co-captains, Max Ritz, comes back on. Well, goals for Ritz against Denver in the first round. Groot knocked down, somehow stays with it. Off for Ritz, wide, big shot over the crossbar. Maxwell Ritz, whose older brother Xander was a great player at Maryland.
Keys for Maryland, they must cover Ben Rubio. I tell you, Rubio had 4 goals in the ACC semis against Maryland, and then create favorable matchups using their big little invert game. When they get the ball behind the cage, they like to use the 2-man game and set a lot of picks.
Sieverts feeds. Looks for Ryan Young, and X Young is the feeder. He'll play behind the goal most of the game from his attack spot.
And here comes one of those picks I'm talking about, right there.
With Max Ritz. Young carries, pass a little too tall though. On this field turf surface. We had a lot of rain here yesterday, but it's been dry all day today. Sieverts has a little room, doesn't crank and shoot. Instead hangs on. The half-field possession continues here for Maryland.
Maryland's a team not built to come from behind. They have played their best ball with leads this year. In the first matchup against Virginia, they scored on their first 3 shots.
Reed, short side, denied by Bud Petit, ball loose, out of bounds, and kept. We see Dave Connell, the head coach in his 26th year overall. He is 4th active in victories. 258 overall wins for Dave Connell. Will bring Loyola to the championship game in the 90s, and a great run at Maryland as well. Last made championship weekend in 2006.
A 10-win season for a very young team. Their best wins over Georgetown, North Carolina, Virginia, and then last week against Denver.
This year's Coach of the Year in the ACC, Dave Connell. Get back to the championship weekend. Goal line extended move by Rubio. Feed behind the cage. And the ball lost out of bounds by Virginia.
A couple Cavalier keys. Midfield scoring. They only had 1 goal against UMBC from the midfield. In fact, their second midfield in the last 5 games has a grand total of 3 goals. And then they have to own the middle of the field. Ground balls, face-offs, and win the clearing and riding game. And Dom Starrs really emphasized that on our conference calls this week, Dave.
He's tied with Dave Connell, 20 NCAA appearances. For first all-time, 7-time ACC Coach of the Year, did that last season. Second all-time active in wins, behind Glenn Thiel of Penn State, who has 303. Tom with 284 career victories at Brown and Virginia. He played his college lacrosse at Brown in the Ivy League. Billings passing, Rubier, goal line extended, couldn't find the handle, and it comes away to Brent Holmes. Here comes a great chance for Maryland. Off that 30-second technical call, the first man-up try for the top EMO unit in the nation in Virginia. They have been incredible with the extra man all year long. 52.5%. 2 games head-to-head with Maryland, 1 for 6. UVA coming into this national quarterfinal with the extra man. He'll try to increase the efficiency. Catalino gets bit, and the big man with some room whistles a shot wide to the left of Petit.
Maryland now 0 of 4 shooting. Said earlier they scored in their first 3 shots during the regular season game against Virginia. There was a Virginia team who brought a 9-0 record into Byrd Stadium. They were sabotaged, caught off guard by the young Terp team.
Tony Mendez, another freshman. He is from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, UNC territory, but playing for Maryland, an ACC rival. In front, Catalina open, buries it. Grant Catalino, who is 2-2 for 4 against Denver last week. All kinds of time and room in front of Petit. The shake and bake goal.
How about the stick fakes and the control? You'll see the pick. Timms will fight through this pick. He goes underneath the pick, and Catalino cuts inside. Well, how about the extra fake he makes here, Dave? Watch him. The initial fake, Petit's still on his line, and he switches hands, and then has the dexterity and the skills to go along with his frame. 6'5", 240, but he's got the hands of a guy who might be 5'8". He's got Mikey Powell's hands.
Amazing. Only a freshman from Webster, New York, near Rochester. Face off 1. Here comes Maryland again. And Reynolds with a quick shot. He scores. Jeff Reynolds free in transition. 10 seconds between the Terp goals, and they bolted out to a 2-0 lead.
One of the Virginia keys, win in the middle of the field, and there's an example of a wing player, Jeff Reynolds. Holmes stands up, Garrett Ince. Reynolds has the easy scoop. They don't pick him up, and he buries it. Pass Petit, and Virginia goaltending is going to continue to be an issue in this NCAA tournament.
19th of the year for Jeff Reynolds, the junior from Calvert Hall High School, Baltimore area, all ACC this year for good reason. He missed 14 games last year because of a torn ACL, but back with a vengeance in 2008.
One of the most fundamentally sound shooters you'll see. Straight overhand or 3/4 arm. Shoots hard to the offside, and that is the shoot to scout tip for Maryland this week. They want to put everything to Petit's offside. It's away from his stick. Just keep it simple. Shoot hard to the net.
Saw that shot stat a moment ago. All Maryland. 6-zip in that category. Even with the extra man, Virginia couldn't squeeze off a shot. They're one of the top scoring teams in the country. Sieverts sends that a little bit wide to the right of the tee. And the Terps hang on a possession.
Possession time. Almost halfway through this first quarter. Virginia's talented attack. Gladding, Billings, and Rubior spectators at this point.
Terps coming off a 10-6 win over Denver last weekend. Grant Catalino 2-2 for 4. 5 Terps had 2 points in that game, and their defense was amazing. Catalino bidding for another, goes low to high. Save Petit, his first, grabbed by Max Ritz, and possession continues for the Terps.
Dave, that's a 1-4-1 set where Catalino starts inside and curls out.
Ritz for Reed. There's Dan Groot, one of the top midfielders in the ACC, and Maryland really humming now. Efficient offense. Reynolds, who's a big pace setter for this team, had a huge hit early in the Denver game last weekend. Off the first couple of moments, got a penalty. That shot ripped wide, backed up by Petit. Reed misses the target, and Virginia chance for a clear here. Down 2-0.
Reed dangerous on the wing. Likes to come off of picks, was suspended 2 games middle of the season. Since then, only 2 goals in his last 4 games. He's a Joe Walters clone with that sidearm release.
Pressure, Holmes, one of the best hitters, all of Mike Thompson, buries him, plants him. They've got another 10 seconds to get in the box. They will not get there. Instead, intercepted by the Terps to the wide open net. They score! How about that? Brett Schmidt, the freshman from Maple Glen, Pennsylvania, with a 6-foot pole, saw a wide open net off the intercept, and he buries it.
Here's the hit. Bryn Holmes, the catalyst to so many good plays for Maryland. They put him in a crunch, triple teamed. Loose ball, time count going against Virginia. Schmidt scoops it up out of nowhere. And in transition, Petit, who's supporting that play, he's out of his goal about 20 yards. Obviously, he got caught off guard and he was way too far out of the net. Schmidt, a freshman, Dave Cottle said, we're going to play around 30 guys today. And Schmidt, the most unlikely goal scorer.
He wasn't kidding around. Virginia's shell-shocked, the last thing we expected to see. Shots are 10-0 Maryland right now. Here's Big Will Dalton, 6'5", 270. Ground ball loose. Catalino hustles for it. Virginia trying to get something going. Matt Kelly from Illinois. He's a great running back in high school in the Chicago area, trying to set the tone a bit here. Clausen a big hit on Catalino near midfield. Reed can't come away. It's still no possession. This is a wild scrum. And that will be a failure to advance call against Maryland. Got to get into the box.
Transition opportunities on restarts, so important. Maryland does a nice job of dropping back into the hole defensively, concede the clear, but don't give Virginia transition. That's a focal point in all these quarterfinal games over the next 2 days.
We'll see what Virginia's made of here. Remember, they got blitzed early and often. In the first game these teams played at College Park at Bird Stadium, lost it on national TV, ESPN2, 13-7. They were never in that game, and this looks a little familiar to that.
And when you look at Maryland, no comebacks other than last week when they were down 5-2 to Denver. 9-0 when they lead after the first quarter.
Giannone trying to create second midfield out for Virginia. Looking for their first shot of the game. Can it be? This high-scoring team having trouble. Rubier goal line extended on the ground ball. Joe Sinoski hits Gladding hard. Sinoski, an all-ACC performer, one of the top close defenders in the nation. Giannone grabs it and scores. From his knees, what a move by Steve Giannone, and UVA finally gets the boost it needs.
Excellent sense here by Giannone. Loose ball, he knows he's going to get swarmed and taken down. His only option is to scoop and let it rip. Worst case scenario, that ball goes wide and it's still Virginia ball. So a heady play by Giannone and a midfield goal from Virginia, especially from a lesser known midfielder, and they need that type of complementary scoring. It can't be all about Gladding, Billings, and Rubio.
Took all the way to the 5:41 mark of the first quarter for Virginia to register its first shot. And Giannone's 9th of the year makes it 3-1. Procedure call against Maryland there on the draw. New rule this year allows a brief 6-on-5 break. But Maryland does recover.
This is trouble. This is trouble. Sinoski is caught, hung up. He and Phipps are going to have to figure out a plan to get Gladding in front of the goal here and cover.
Danny Gladding, team's leading scorer, along with Garrett Billings, setting up from behind the cage. Takes his time for Virginia to get going in the half-field offense here. Shot sent right to the crease. Billings missed the target, and a crease call against Garrett Billings. He was inside the radius of the crease. And now Maryland a chance on a clear.
9-foot radius. Defenders are allowed in the crease. Offensive players are never allowed in. It's a technical violation. Possession awarded to Maryland.
Play continues.
Maryland was offsides. Mental mistake behind the play.
Virginia on the attack. Big save Phipps. His first of the game. Grabbed by Rubier. Gladding from behind the cage. Will reset. Watched by Sinoski. And the captain, Will Barrow, head off for an offensive-oriented player. Passes to Brian Carroll, playing with a broken left hand. Carroll not nearly as effective as he's been all year. He's been incredible, especially with a man up this year. But the broken left hand has limited him. Rubier team's leader. And one of the captains on attack sends that wide of the target. Backed up by the Cavaliers, under 4 to go in our first quarter.
Rubio fighting through a patella injury early this year, missed 2 games. His season was really in jeopardy, in question, but he's rallied. He says he feels stronger now than he has all season. He is a Tewaaraton finalist, one of the top 5 players in the nation.
Matt Danowski, Zach Greer of Duke, Paul Rabel of Johns Hopkins, Mike Lavelle of Syracuse, the other 4 finalists for that honor. Jamel Brett cruising in, tries the lefty shot, missed the target. Backed up by Billings, and UVA keeps it.
Jamel Bratton's going to draw the short stick today. He's going to get opportunities. The question is, can he put himself in strong shooting angles, and can he finish? So great dodge. You got to put that ball on the goal.
Top of the box, Jamel Bratton. He and his twin brother Ramel have been fabulous all year. Great adjustment from the high school level on Long Island to playing midfield college level. Tom Starsia, we spoke with him this week, very pleased with their progress.
Anytime a freshman midfielder can score more than 10 goals, that's a barometer for superstardom. His numbers, Jamel's numbers compare favorably to Kyle Dixon, Chris Rotelli,
Matt Posque, players at Virginia. They won a 2006 national title. Kyle Dixon, Matt Ward, what a team that was. Undefeated for Dom Starsia as they roll by UMass in the championship game. Quick stick, goal! Billings on a great feed from Gladding after the stall warning was put in play by the officials. And it's 3-2.
Well, I said earlier how disappointing it was to see Sinoski and Brian Phipps just sitting in front of the goal and allowing Gladding to sit behind the cage uncovered. Now, this is just eventually not going to be the right scenario. And Billings cuts a nice tangent of the crease cut. The pass is on target, and this is just a quick little one-touch. That's too easy, my friends. And Sinoski has got to get a little more into getting behind the goal and covering Gladding.
As we talked about top of the broadcast, 9 of 10 goals scored against UNBC for Virginia in the first round last week at Klockner Stadium came from the attack. First goal from the attack. Look at the scrum here. Will Dalton at midfield with Ince. Sinoski trying to get in there and grab the ground ball. This is a lengthy battle, kind of rugby-esque here, Quinn.
I'm surprised they haven't blown the whistle and let him reface.
Finally, a hold is called. And it goes against Virginia, so Maryland does have possession. Will Dalton will re-trigger the big guy. Looks off for Farrell. Catalino's shot stopped by Bud Petit. The studio art major has his 2nd save of the day. Ince, the freshman, good job to help clear. And work to Gladding at X behind the cage. Under 2.5 to go in our first quarter. Giannoni and Billings have tallied for Virginia so far. Catalino, Reynolds, and Brett Schmidt with a long stick and an empty net. A broken play for the Terps.
You see the differential in shots. Maryland dominating the first 9 minutes of this game. Lacrosse, a game of runs. Typically the team that puts together the biggest run, whether it's a 3-goal, a 4-goal, or 5 or more, that's typically the team who wins. It's almost like baseball and the big inning theory.
Ramel Bratton hit hard by Jeff Reynolds. Grabs the ball again. Giannoni plays with a rod and one leg. Broke his leg last year. He's also had severe wrist problems, but like a lot of the Cavaliers, they can barely get through the week with practice this point of the year. Peter Lomedy, one of their star middies, same deal. He can't even practice. Flag flies, pass way over the head of Bratton. But a penalty is coming against Maryland. It'll be a /1 minute man up coming for UVA, the top EMO unit in the nation. The NCAA Lacrosse Championships quarterfinals continue 3 Eastern today on ESPNU. Navy against the 5 seed and defending national champs Johns Hopkins. Navy broke a 3-game NCAA tournament losing streak at North Carolina in a 1-goal thriller at Chapel Hill last weekend. Quentin and I called that one. Hopkins has won 6 straight after a 5-game losing streak. And Mr. May, Dave Petramala, and the Blue Jays have it going again.
Should be a good one. They're going to be fighting against about 20,000 Naval Academy Navy fans. Everybody in red and orange today will be pulling for the mids.
Phipps, big save. Ball loose. Rubier trying to grab it. 2 saves for Phipps so far.
And Holmes is going to be flagged for a late and high hit inside. So some Maryland mental errors. You see an offsides. You see Sinoski refusing to go behind the goal to play Gladding. Holmes now, when Phipps had possession, you cannot make contact with the opponent. This time it looked like he led with his head or his hands. Keep an eye on number 17 in red, right in front of the goal. Holmes, a terrific high school wrestler. Rubior is down on the ground, and Holmes gives him an elbow in the head.
Illegal body check creates a two-man advantage here for UVA and the best EMO unit in the country at 6-on-4. Rubior wide, shoots, scoring. It's Gladding who's free, and he scores.